Three, two, one. Hello. Welcome to the Band Batch Skeleton Crew Music Review. I'm Chrysanthe. You can call me Xanthe. And with me, of course, is the Band Batch. Mine is Christina. Today we have Justin, Scheid, and James Waterman. Today we're going to review the music and the sound and, of course, the pirate sea shanties of Skeleton Crew Episode 6, Zero Friends Again.
Yeah.
How's everyone doing? How did we like this episode? Chat, you can respond to this too.
This episode was awesome. Yeah. I love the character development of all the members of the crew and the different interactions that they had. I love the moment that we got to see like folks be both vulnerable but like kind of renegotiating or renavigating like what it means to like to be supportive of one another, especially like, you know, members of the crew that have a disability. I loved watching that relationship and those and that come to light. I loved the Last Jedi aliens. I love
Yes.
yeah, I just thought
Love
this was to me this felt like almost all the best parts of the show firing on all cylinders. I'd say almost because I wanted a little bit more. I didn't need more Jod, but obviously this wasn't really his episode. We got a moment with him, obviously, kind of sweet talking his way into not being, you know, ended by the pirate crew. But this was really, I think this episode was more about the kids, and kind of exploring their relationship and their camaraderie with one another, and also them transforming into the skeleton crew. You know, that's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
So
What about you, Justin?
Yeah, it was a fun episode. It hasn't been my favorite so far, but I think it's just because it was so short. I just was like, but wait, what happened to Jod? I want to know more, but they're setting it up for that next, like, the next two episodes. I love seeing, like James was saying, the camaraderie of the team, understanding each other. I think having it come from Fern's lesson of like, hey, stop, listen, and observe other people and what they're able to do and what is, you know, kind of a thing, came from both Neil and KB, which was interesting.
Yep.
So it wasn't just everybody. You know, it wasn't just KB, but then the relationship between KB and Win understanding what's happening was really, really special, I thought. Kind of funny in the end, but how she treats it all in the end. But it was very, very nice. And I liked... was it just me, or did the giant trash crab, which I had a great time with the little trash crabs and their little, let's imitate anything anybody's saying and they think they're communicating with them. Did they look, they kind of had this like stop motion quality to them. If anyone, especially the giant
one
and
was a Phil Tippett stop motion creation.
They were stop
awesome.
motion.
Okay. That is okay, great.
How cool
I'm glad I saw that. I was like, hey, this is really harkening back to the old, you know, the good stuff. And I was like, why does this crab look so good? And that's because it was stop motion.
Yeah,
that was really, really cool.
I loved the crabs. Hi Icarus, saying sir, ma'am. So I've included pronouns in our names. I loved this episode. I think it had some of my favorite character moments with, again, like just to echo you guys, the KB stuff and Fern learning a lesson was just really, really powerful. And I got really emotional. The only reason I wouldn't give it like a top score, the overall episode, is because while the emotional core was there, and that was the most important part of the episode, the action element, the business of the episode, the part that was moving the plot forward, I just thought was a little bit visually confusing and a little bit like we just have to get this thing done because we're really just facilitating this conversation, which is fine. I think it could have been longer and made a little bit more clear. Like but that didn't detract from the parts of it that I did like. I just think. overall.
Yeah, and you're a stickler for
construction-wise.
action. Like I know that action is the most important part for you. You know.
Did you say the action?
If it's a slow episode, Xanthe's like, this isn't my.
Yeah.
This isn't my sweet potato at all. This isn't.
Yeah, I do love a slow episode, notoriously.
Notoriously.
Notoriously loves
I
a
love
slow
it.
episode.
Famous.
Oh, Chris, I see what you're saying. Yeah, Wim did say that. That was pretty funny.
Alfie says, "Happy 2025, great episode. I wasn't looking forward to a Goonies in space, but these kids have won over my cynical heart. Protect Neil and KB at all costs."
Yeah.
Agreed.
So,
and honestly, I need to watch Goonies at some point.
so I just wanted to throw this
Do
out
it
here.
after all this.
I went and I shared. I have a good friend of mine who is like doesn't watch TV or anything or movies or really anything, and his name is Neil, Neel, and which is a super common Indian name.
We all know him from CalArts, right?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Different one?
No, this is a different Neil. You probably think I'm talking about Neil MG. This is a different. Yeah, you've probably met him before. This is another Tableau player who didn't go to CalArts, but a good friend of mine. And but yeah, Neel is a common name, Indian name, and what's interesting about that is that the name means blue. Like that's what that word means. In Hindi, it means blue. And when I shared the character with, I was like, hey, check out this list of characters from this show that I'm watching right now. Because whenever I tell him about he never like gets it, like what exactly I'm doing or watching whenever I'm talking about these Star Wars shows. He's like, wait, there's more Star Wars happening. Wait, what are you doing? Like, what are you reviewing again? So anyway, I was like, hey, look at the show I've been watching. Look at the characters. He's like, what? And he was like, yeah. And there's also like, he thinks it's no accident that Neil is a blue kid with an elephant's head, and there's like there's a lot of like imagery in obviously Hindu imagery with elephant's head, with like Ganesha is the deity with an elephant's head. So Neil, he's like, there's no way that's not on purpose. Like they named him Neil, they made him blue, and they give him an elephant head. Like he was like convinced that this is all on purpose for his character. So I just thought that was interesting. I also find it kind of, like Neil was kind of laughing. He was like, yeah, it's kind of funny that like when you take an actual name in India and you put it in Star Wars as if it's like an alien name. You know what I mean? We've talked a lot about like exoticism in like both the music and also like, some of the things that we see on screen in Star Wars. And he was kind of laughing. He's like, oh, it's kind of funny that my name is just the name of an alien in Star Wars. So anyway, just thought I'd share all that. That was a recent update.
That's pretty funny.
Interesting idea, Icarus. I wonder if KB is for kybernetics.
That's interesting.
Wait.
That is funny, James. That is something I noticed actually. It's kind of started to suspect with the character and stuff like that. Well, we also named somebody Pocket with 2 Ks. So
there you go.
that was a fun.
There you go.
I think anything could be. It is funny though. Is it really,
we haven't talked about this in a long time, but you are on some tip about like the long list of Star Wars characters with double letters, right? Don't you have like a standing the green glass door? That's right.
I'm still on that. For sure.
You're still on that. You still have like
is behind the green glass door for sure.
Okay, got it.
And Neil.
Yeah.
But not Wim or Fern or KB.
That's right.
Samantha says, great episode. Lots of more subtle music, which was great. I especially loved the flutes. Samantha, you can tell from her photo, who plays the flute.
She did.
Wim said, sir, ma'am, to the crab. That's right. You're right, Icarus. Hey, Rob, Commander Taco. What's up?
Ooh.
Matthew, happy New Year, everyone. Wim is a fairly common name in the Netherlands
Oh, interesting.
and Flanders. I was thinking like Wim Hof. That's like, is he named after Wim? Probably not. She did pocket the ransom. Nice. Well, I guess I'll answer my own question, which was what? Oh no, I did answer my own question.
You did.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So maybe we should jump into our audio quiz. Should we jump right into music, or do you want to talk about some musical parts first? Okay.
Let's get it.
So there's. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. So you were on a podcast this week, yeah?
That's right. Right. I was on the Resistance broadcast, Galactic Goonies show, which you can
That's so
watch. I'll put a link in the chat if I remember. And so if you attended that, you may have already seen me talk about the music a little bit, but I didn't really like get into it very deeply. So, and James was watching, so
I was.
So James.
And what I thought was hilarious, Justin, is they asked Xanthe to like what their speculations were about. And Xanthe almost short-circuited, and basically, it was really funny. And if you're not aware, Xanthe is like famously doesn't really care for, rolls their eyes at speculation. Should I say? I think that's the best way to put it.
I think just most speculation doesn't interest me.
Right. It's not like the thing that you get excited about, right?
Right. I mean, I get excited about little bits of it, like, oh, could this be connected to the Chiss or something?
Right.
Like, but
I think there's like a spectrum of Star Wars fans, and like some of them exist in this one space where like you'll see like Twitter posts or Reddit speculative posts that are like, you know what? Who I think is going to show up in the next episode? It's going to be this random character, and the reason why I know this is because this, and this. And how cool would it be if Ezra Bridger turns out to be the person that like that is? There's like that, and I would say Xanthe exists like on the complete opposite.
Yeah, I was going to say that's
spectrum.
Exactly the opposite of me.
Yeah, there's like like I feel like some people like that's their version of like. Of engaging excitedly with the content. Like that's the thing that like keeps them up all night. It's like what character might show up, like what might be this thing, right? And you are like not that way at all.
Well, what I like to speculate about is what information characters have at a given time, and things like in the Rise of Skywalker or in the sequel trilogy. I like to speculate that no one ever told Kylo Ren the full story of what happened to Darth Vader, or you know, things like that. Because yeah.
Like you speculate about irrational character arcs and things like that.
Did you say irrational?
No, rational. Like, or not rational, but like
rational things. Yeah, just natural
things that naturally occur in the plot and that excites you, right? You're not like, oh my god, how are they going to shoehorn Hondo Anaka into this show, right?
Or
sometimes the ideas just come to me and then I'm speculating, but I can't force myself to speculate and come up with a list of things that I'm happy with.
Yes.
Yeah,
I hear you.
To be natural.
I'm a little bit of both. I'm a little bit of both, as you know.
You're in that beautiful middle, James, where we're all hoping it's going to be we're all hoping it's going to be Darth Maul, even if we know it's not going to be Darth Maul. But we all going to hope that someday he's going to be that.
Yeah, I think that like a very close second to like natural, beautiful, wonderful, satisfying storytelling in my Star Wars. A very close second that will still keep me happy is shameless cameos that are still awesome. Okay, like and that's why I like the Book of Boba Fett. You know what I mean? It's like because I didn't get the first thing, but I got the second. You know, so.
But also there's like a fair bit of music speculation that people engage in, and even I think with musical speculation, I'm on the more reserved edge of it, where I'm not going to jump to a conclusion because I'm hearing something that kind of sounds like Kylo Ren's theme. There is something that sounds like Kylo Ren's theme in the previous Leon of this episode. But yeah. Okay, Matthew says this was a wonderful KB-focused episode where all the kids really came together as a team. Sea shanty that I hope we get more of, plus a new version of the ship. Yeah, I agree. I think it was great that Jod wasn't really part of this episode because, I mean, at least part of the kids' journey, because they have to, go through their own growth without the adult present.
Oh yeah, the Razor Crest is gone. I totally forgot about that.
It's gone.
Yeah,
it was nice to see them at the very, very end, like, assume the positions, like, I'm going to go fire at it. I'm going to go start the engine. I love KB just smacks it again. Like, Neil, take the throttle. And they're all kind of, like, finding their own, like, becoming this crew of young skeletons, I suppose.
Yep.
Yeah.
Commander Taco says, strongest episode of the series so far for me. Bryce Dallas Howard got great performances from these kids. Agreed.
I think
the
so.
Ship reveal and stop motion.
Give her a series.
Big fun.
Yeah, she's awesome, man. She's killed it
her
every single
series.
time. I think the only episode I don't like that she's ever directed didn't she direct like the Lizzo Jack Black episode in wasn't that her episode in season 3?
It might have been. Now I think it was.
It was
Let me
Guns
see.
for Hire, which is no, that was the Quarren. Oh, was that the Lizzo one? Yeah,
that's
the Lizzo one.
That's the Lizzo one. Okay, I'll say that's a rare blight on her Star Wars resume because that episode might have been my least favorite thing that they've ever released in the last 10 years of Star Wars.
I also didn't like her first episode of Mandalorian, which was the
I did.
the
the ATST one.
Sure, yeah, that was.
Oh, I loved that one. That was great.
There were some kind of cheesy things in it, but I kind of loved it at the same time.
Yeah.
I think that did have rough edges on it. I think for sure.
Yeah,
but
she seems to
really didn't like Omera and the daughter.
She seems to lead
back to the show.
Yeah.
She did a great job directing the kids. Agreed. And I saw on the Star Wars
this was awesome.
The episode guide for this episode that they nicknamed the giant crab tetanus because it had so many spiky parts that kept.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
The new ship is nice. If the Lego ship cannot be transformed to all rage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many people have have already bought the Onyx Cinder, but whether it
doesn't transform to the new version. That is so funny. Man, I tell you what, Star Wars toy marketing and its limitations because of not wanting to spoil things, I think is honestly its detriment. Did you know that there still is not a Ben Solo Black Series figure? They still have not released that. And I think that the toy thing on the Star Wars end, I think they could do a better job of just once upon a time you would have literally any toy that you wanted from the movie before the movie came out. You know what I mean? They weren't worried about spoiling you. And I think that there's probably some ramifications to that, and here's a perfect example.
It's probably because the toys
they also don't have to destroy the ships after releasing a toy.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. That's a good point.
They could just not. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I always it would be, you should be able to go out if you're a toy person, be able to go get the figures or toys or whatever of the show that is currently on, or the movie or what, but they famously don't do that typically because they're trying not to spoil the show, but and I get it, the internet is crazy with spoilers, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, let's
do music.
Let's move on to the music, the audio quiz. Justin, would you like to go? This is okay. This is the part of the show where we, if we have them, we recreate musical examples or sound design examples from the show, and all of us, including chat, try to guess where that occurred.
Yeah, I'm guessing today.
Okay. Justin, do you have one?
Yeah, I've got a couple.
Cool. Go for it.
Let's see here.
The Shining.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Also the DSA.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I don't want this in paraphonic. Okay, these are supposed to be low strings, clearly. Clearly low strings. Actually, I bet you I can... Yeah, clearly low strings. And then there's some stuff in the middle, and it comes back again the same.
Huh.
Any guesses from the gallery or from the chat?
So the thing, you're kind of not playing it like this, but I do remember quite a lot of low brass surrounding the pirates in this episode.
Definitely.
And I'm wondering if that's kind of what you're alluding to with this brassy synth that you've got. It sounds very low brassy.
Totally. I'm pretending it to be low strings.
Oh, low strings.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. This is supposed to be low strings. Clearly, these are
you
low
said
strings.
That. Okay.
Yeah. Clearly, the brass sound is low strings. No, I'm kidding. No.
No, it's
there
not.
Are a lot of
anything
really cool
involving the
brassy pirates. It is not anything involved with the pirates.
Okay, that was my guess.
Can you tell us whether it's underscore beneath like dialogue or if it's like out in the open?
Yeah, it's underscore beneath dialogue. Perhaps pauses between conversations for things to stick out a little.
Interesting.
Interesting. Happens twice.
Happens twice.
And is that
within the same scene. Within the same scene.
Okay. And is that like the end of a phrase, or is it like the beginning of something?
Or is it perhaps the middle of a phrase?
Are you just dropping
is it the
us in
melody
the
at
middle?
all? Kind of a thing. I mean, I guess there's like some like high stringy thing happening in there, and then you kind of get this. There's a harp right before it as well. I didn't transcribe the harp because it was more of a arpeggiating little harpy thing. But we have this kind of like high thing, and then they are. Where was my?
Oh wow.
Perhaps like this like sad pad happening.
I have a guess.
Oh, is it? I have a guess, but yeah, go ahead, Xanth.
The conversation with Fern and KB at the beginning.
Yes. That's it. Is that what you were leaning towards, James?
I was thinking of something KB related. I was thinking it might have been when she was Wim was helping her.
Okay. Similar. That both parts have these kind of like harp-ish sections.
Yeah,
but
the harp
what's
kind of goes bong, 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 which actually reminds
kind
me
of doing these little
Dance Macabre.
things. But that was just kind of background to me. It was this kind of this low string thing happening for this part. This is when Fern and KB first are like, hey, you don't listen to me. And they start arguing. And it comes back when all four of them are arguing. And they kind of get into the, well, I guess we're going to split up kind of a thing. It was this really kind of dark, sad undertone of a group falling apart, that have been friends. Well... two groups of friends that have now become one group of friends that are now becoming two groups of acquaintance friends. See how they switched best friends there? It was a development,
it's a
character development episode.
That's a classic writing motion is split people up and put them with opposite pairs and see what happens kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Can you play it one more time for us, Justin? Now that we know what it's referring to.
And this first appears also. I should have given you a timestamp. First time I hear it is. Where did it go?
It's like 5.
Oh, around 6:06. Yeah, like around 6:06.
6 minutes, 6 seconds.
But lower, I guess.
That's the harp.
I don't know. It stuck out to me when I was watching the episode. The first time I heard it, the first time watching it, and even the second time, it kind of stuck out to me. I remember marking it down twice.
It stuck out to me too, but then it was so soft that I was like, "Is this something?" It's so soft.
Yeah, I think when it came back twice, when it came back twice, it was kind of like, okay, this is something that the composer's going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to hear the soundtrack without dialogue.
Me
There's
too.
some really gorgeous parts that are underneath a lot of action, a lot of sounds, and a lot of, especially this episode, I felt like there was some standout musical moments, but a lot of it was underscore. I felt like there was, I mean, we're gonna pick apart as much as we can, as always, kind of a thing. But it felt like there was only a few really standout parts in this episode compared to other ones.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's that one.
Woo!
I like that.
Okay. Yes, thank you. I have one. I need to wash my hands. I'll do it after I play this. But it actually is like expanding in octaves with each. It starts like lower. Maybe like.
Okay. I mean,
I think I might know where it is. Yeah, I have a guess, but James, you go first.
Okay. I mean, this just sounds like some riffs that would be happening during a tense action sequence. That's what it sounds like to me. Oh, I think Chuck's asked some questions. We haven't had a second one, Chuck. That was just the first one.
But Justin said that it came back later. So.
Oh, it would have been like, I guess I didn't
Like
get a second one. I could look for it. Yeah, I would have come back in within a minute, kind of a thing. It's
like really the underscore just keeps playing.
Yeah, it just keeps expanding.
I see. Yeah, for this one, yeah, I'm going to guess that it's going to be happening at like, I'm going to guess it's going to be happening at like when the giant crab is revealing itself to be a menace and a beast somewhere around like I don't know, what is that, like 20 minutes or 21 minutes when something like that, maybe?
Nope. It is on strings.
Oh, okay, cool.
Are there a bunch of like woodwinds and going on top of it, kind of, sort of? Is this when Wim is trying to replace the microfuse in the back of KB's head?
No.
I remember this riff though. Damn it!
It came back. It happened twice. It happened like 5 minutes after the first time we heard it.
All right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Icarus. This sounds like they're trying to escape from something, which is why I'm thinking it was involving the crabs.
Oh,
it's not involving the crabs.
Icarus,
Does not have anything to do with the crabs, but you think it might happen when they flee with the ship, but then it happens 5 minutes after. No.
Right. It's not that.
Yeah, they
either.
said that it happened 5 minutes after it first happens, and the ship happens in the last 5 minutes of the episodes. That doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna guess it's like us heading to the pirate ship or something.
Nope.
What else happens in this episode?
I like Icarus's answer.
Other than fleeing the crabs, fleeing the ship, and going to the pirate thing.
Oh, it's not fleeing the ship. Okay, it's not. Nope. It's not the right before the ship. Oh, damn it.
Nope.
No. Then what the hell happens? I mean, at this point, it's just...
I'm stumped before I start scrubbing. I'm stumped.
Okay, I'll tell you the answer. It's when Fern and Neil, they're doing their dramatic cliff climb.
Okay.
So check out...
Do you know what else is happening in that moment?
1525. That's basically what it is. 1525 and 2011.
1525. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that was nice.
Okay.
Okay, I remember that. So there's another shot when Neil and Fern are climbing where there's some tubular bells and some... it's at around like 20 minutes. Or like 1950 or so.
Okay.
And there's like timpani and tubular bells.
Yeah.
What was that timestamp again?
2050. 1950.
1950 or so. Somewhere around there. But, yeah, you know what I'm talking
I hear
about?
them, yeah.
Yeah.
Big timpani.
Yeah, climbing, kind of increasing in energy, increasing tension. I'm not like a good climber, by the way. Like I can't. Or like in terms of heights, I couldn't do that. Like period, couldn't do that. End of story. Couldn't climb up that giant like gantry thing. You know, like washing my hands so I could play violin. So yeah, anytime I watch an adventure story like this and it goes into a scene like that where they're like climbing a giant ladder, I just think about how I don't know how I think I would just die. I think I think
I would give up.
You're not you can't do heights either.
I can do secure heights because I have to for my job.
Oh, you do.
I'm in scissor lifts, I'm in catwalks, you know, it depends on the theater and all sorts of climbing truss and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
So if it's like secure, I'm okay. When it's not secure, like there's a real possibility of like, that's when I'm not okay. Climbing that, I used to have to climb a vertical ladder that was about 20 feet, 25 feet almost every day daily. Which is nothing compared to what they did, clearly. Or in the Acolyte when they climbed up that entire mountain in 30 seconds. There's no way. The one that always gets me is not the climbing; it's hanging off, like holding on to somebody, so that they don't like fall into a chasm. I'm like, no, I'd let you go. I'm so sorry. There's no way I can catch. There's no way I can catch you. There's no way I can hold you up. We're both going.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm watching Mission Impossible series for the first time, and so
really,
yeah, and so Mission Impossible.
How are you liking it?
It's fine so far. I've only seen 2.
Yeah. Okay. The second one sucks. Second one's awful.
Really?
Yeah, it's the worst one.
I thought it was. I liked the action better than the first one.
Really? Mm-hmm. I guess it makes sense. I think that's probably the only thing that it like has
so many thoughts
any
about Mission Impossible. I can't go into a tangent right now. I can't do it right now.
Can't do it.
We'll talk about it. Yeah. So
they get increasingly better. Just so you know, it's like it's strange how rewarding that series is, considering it's.
This is what I hear.
I don't know. What are there 10 of them or something like that? There 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7. There's maybe 8 or something.
8 will
but
come
yeah,
out in May.
Yeah, they're like, it's kind of amazing how good that they keep getting. But anyway, I couldn't do that high stuff.
Yeah, no, me neither.
The music that's playing in this moment is what's happening in my head when I'm climbing anything. Okay, just tense strings, increasing in octave. Yeah, that's what's happening, and to my heart rate, everything. So very representative of what's happening in that scene.
Yeah, I can't even look outside of my apartment, looking all the floors below.
Oh yeah, that's kind of wild. not to dox you, but you live in a pretty, pretty like precarious situation. I don't know if I could do it, dude. It's pretty wild.
And you're not even the highest
I'm
one
like
up. I think
I'm one of the lower floors.
You're
I'm
one
like
of the
on
lower
floor,
ones too.
which is
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Mission Impossible Music Minute. Agathol Music Minute.
There's no way Xanthi would ever
I
do
have
that.
actually been thinking of doing like a very casual podcast for my Patreon, where I'm just giving my takes on a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to commit. I don't want to commit to preparing a whole thing about it to be publicly shared. But
Sure.
sometimes, just someone being like, okay, so what did you think of Mission Impossible 2? And then I can just really just.
I see. But you would have to watch like Marvel stuff to watch.
No, not necessarily. I wouldn't.
No, I'm just saying this is what
for
Agathol.
along.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, but not Mission Impossible. That's a lower bar.
There's no way we'll get you to do that.
Marvel Music Minute.
Okay. Do you have another music? Do you have another thing to quiz us on, Justin?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got one. Okay.
I'm doing great on these guesses as well.
Okay. Here's actual brass. Clearly, this will be a brass kind of a thing.
Okay.
Lots of action. I'll give you that. Lots of action. Lots of other strings. But this is like the main kind of line cutting through everything. Let's see. Yeah, down here. And then kind of comes in with some other instruments, a little stinger of the theme at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have a guess.
Let's hear it.
Okay, I think it's.
You making sure? You making sure?
I think this is. I think this is while they're saving the ship, right at the end.
No.
Right? No. Okay. There's a similar thing going on. It's not exactly the same. There's similar stabs, but it's more polytonal happening towards the end. Interesting. With brass, huh?
So is it on upper brass?
Like a French horns. Let's say French horns. It's a French horn
solo?
line. Soli.
Okay, so the section.
Yeah, section brass.
Interesting. Where does that happen?
Here, I'll play it again. It's a fast tempo, so it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4. It does this big.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. It sure does.
Oh. No.
Any guesses from the chat? I'm pulling all these like underscore weirdos for you guys today.
So there's no other instruments happening? It's like
no, there's lots of. I thought I said.
Sorry, it's solely okay, but not.
So well.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought I could.
The section is doing. The orchestra is also in.
The orchestra is doing wild things, like
Okay.
All sorts of other.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, one of my guesses would have been like them rescuing, what do you call it? Wim and Fern rescuing them, from the crabs.
Okay, that is not it. Actually, the chat got it.
Mm-hmm. Alf G says,
well, that's cool.
X-Wing dogfight.
This is right when this is at 4:39-ish. And this is right when they're like, aren't they? I thought they're the bad guys or something. No, they're those X-Wings? They're called X-Wings. That's what he said. I think they're called
cool.
X-Wings. Or Kim said, and that's when.
Where did they hear that, by the way? Where do they hear X-Wings from? Did we see that on screen,
Kim.
them hearing the word X-Wing?
Kim.
Oh, did she say it out loud? What an X-Wing
That's what I'm saying. Did we? I mean, they
question.
said, "Hey, we heard him from Kim," but we also saw every waking minute that they were in Kim's presence, and I don't remember her saying anything about X-Wings. So
maybe Jod said something.
Interesting.
They were saying Jod said that they were the bad guys.
Right.
So
but
this
yeah,
is right. This is yeah.
It's a cool moment. I do enjoy with an established franchise like this, like creating stories in which people are discovering, like there's like dramatic irony there happening from the audience that's built in from our knowledge of what's already happened in the franchise. Like it's not like actually necessarily told on screen. Like it's not like you could watch the show the first time and not know anything about X-Wings, but it's kind of assumed that you do. So so you get to watch this it's kind of like with Mando, honestly. Like you got to watch Mando discover things about the Star Wars universe that that you were aware of, like specifically things about the Mandalorians. Similarly, in this show, you get to watch these kids learn about all the stuff that they've been missing about Star Wars, and one of those things being like, what are these X-Wing things? You know, that's kind of it's an interesting moment.
That's a good fun fact. Icarus, the Latin alphabet
Could've
is
been the
used in Star
Crosswings.
Wars. That's why it can be called X-Wing. Yeah, explain that. I don't know. Don't think too hard. Okay, I think I have another one before we get to like some of the more obvious moments. Okay. Okay, good. I didn't write it down. I just wrote the chords. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And okay. Oops, sorry, I'm on harp. Play it higher.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. It happens at a very specific. It's a specific. And it happens twice.
Play it again for us.
Also, it is brass. So.
Oh.
Sorry.
Wait, Thriller. Oh, interesting.
It's doing the evil chord progression.
I was gonna say it sounds evil. So pirates are involved, I'm guessing.
Nope.
No. Is the trash crab of doom?
Yes.
Aha.
Okay, yes.
It's the mama crab.
Mama crab.
That's
Mama
right.
crab, Papa crab,
Play it for us again.
Mega crab.
2032 is one spot to check it out, and then also
That's
at
fun.
22 minutes.
22 minutes. So we have, those are diminished chords, yeah?
No, they're two minor chords.
Sorry, but they're separated as if they're like by a minor third, right?
Yes, and they are not diatonically related, so that's why they sound so weird.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like B
And
minor to D minor. So the F sharp in the B minor goes down to an F natural.
Right. And so for like not super musical folks, essentially like those are two chords that don't exist together in the same key. So it feels like you're switching keys immediately when you switch from one chord to the other, which makes that sound strange because we're so used to, with tonal ears, or at least diatonically tonal ears, we're so used to hearing like chords that like could be part of the same key of music that we're in. And yeah.
That would be diatonically related.
Right. So when you switch to chords that aren't diatonically related, that aren't in the same key, it feels jarring. You feel like, oh wow, I'm switching to a completely different key than I normally hearing. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It would be like, and I see Icarus saying, like, I hear you say, or the words you say, key. It'd be like if you were listening to a song and we just immediately switch the radio station to a song that's in, that uses different chords or different notes and scale. It would feel jarring. You'd be like, whoa, we're all of a sudden in a different song, right? And that's kind of why that sounds so off-putting.
It's like in every key, you get assigned. This is very simple, like 7 notes to use. That's just the hand that you're dealt. It's fixed. That's your diatonic hand. Diatonic is just the 7 cards that you're dealt for a particular key. And
you get clubs. Yeah, it's like you got clubs, and then all of a sudden, like 3 diamonds come out of nowhere. But then you got to go back to club. Then you got to go back to clubs real quick, and you're like, okay, right. That was weird.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So if it's in the key, then it's like one of the cards you got in the Star Wars Music Minute episode that's coming out on Monday with Frank Lehman. He is talking about something and mentioned something diatonic, and the phrasing he used was like, "Oh, that's exactly what it is." That he was like, and you get that chord for you get that note for free, and that's exactly what it is. It's like he was referring to like a note that is in the key, that is part of the hand that you're dealt for that key. Mm-hmm. So yeah, to borrow notes from other keys is what's happening here. Yeah.
Well, that was a scary crab, huh? I maybe I'm just a little too forgiving, but I even as the crab was roaring at them, I was like, I bet he's still good. I bet he's still a good guy.
Yeah.
Like,
and they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't convinced that it was an evil crab yet, but I guess that I'm
such a cute crab.
I would just be sitting there getting eaten while I'm like, oh, it's fine. Yeah. Reminds me a lot of Aragog in the second Harry Potter.
Second. I just watched that movie. That's so funny.
It's a very similar situation where they're like, aren't they like literally following spiders into the forest to go talk to the giant
Do you remember
spider,
the
and then it turns
for that?
I don't. I should probably the crab style motion cannot be evil.
Good rule.
I just watched that. So the music, the spider music from that is this like it's very creepy, very spindly.
Spidery. Yeah.
Spidery.
Yeah.
It's
and John Williams scored that film, right? Was that the last one that he scored? Or did he score the third one as well?
He did the third one as well.
Okay, he did the first 3, and then he was like, "Okay, I can't. Like, I got other stuff to do." Got it.
Only Star Wars gets 9 movies out of me.
he was like, "You literally gonna watch? You're gonna keep making these? Okay. I'm sorry, I can't. You can have the theme."
How many books are there?
Do
Yeah.
you have more examples, Justin?
Yeah. Hold on.
There are for sure Harry Potter similarities in this show.
Yeah, there's some moments, especially the Kim character, the owl, gave me big Harry Potter feels.
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta stand up and do something for this one because I didn't map it to the keyboard. Okay, here's the sound for you. Haven't done one of these in a while. See if it does it right. I'm coming over here. Sorry. You hear that?
Yeah. Is it supposed to sound bloopy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll do it one more time for you. I'm trying to match the gesture as best as I can.
So this is a sound design example, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow. okay.
Justin usually likes to find the most significant sound design moment and highlight it on stream. So I'm just gonna guess, but I'm wondering if anyone else wants to take a guess first.
Yeah, it's usually like a door or something in the background. No, this one's good.
Oh, I do have a guess. Does anyone have a guess?
Let me go check.
Okay. There's talk about native animals helping the heroes, or not.
Yeah,
animals are the enemy.
No animals
Yeah.
were harmed in this feature.
They didn't actually hurt any of the crabs?
No,
They just
it didn't
scooped them
seem
out.
like
That was
it.
good. Yeah, I was just saying, Xanthe, if you ever do play Jedi Fallen Order, just get ready for just like the
Animal
main
cruelty.
enemy to be any animal nearby at any point in time.
Oh.
It's pretty much what that game is all about. Is like, yeah, we have to fight the Empire, but we really have to fight all of the local fauna of every planet we visit. Anyway, I didn't realize that Mick did the music for the Penguin. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna guess,
Okay.
and I'm guessing this is the sound.
Which one to say it at the same time?
Are we gonna time this over stream?
Yeah. There might be a slight delay.
It's okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
ready?
3,
1, 2,
2, 1.
1.
When the ship is molting.
Okay,
Or
that's
when
not what I was thinking
when
of.
the chimes is going through the ship.
James, you didn't say anything.
I know.
Emergency
No,
demolition.
Xanthe, no. James, what do you
Okay.
got?
I'm guessing it's when either like Wim takes KB's like implant out or like her back head thing and is like when he presses the button it like comes out or whatever. Like that's what my guess is. Or it's her pressing it and it coming down in front of her face. One of those two. Something involving her Lobot mechanics.
Totally, exactly. You're really, really close. It's the moment after he gets everything in, and there's like a little orchestra silence, and you hear that little sound, and she kind of shuts down for
Can you play it again?
This is right before we find out that she's okay. This is like, oh no, we were too late, and she kind of shuts down. It's this little kind of.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's much
It's
more
not
British.
exact, but it's as close as I could get it.
Okay, and
Okay, wait.
just to be
Listen
clear
to the
for
part
our
at
newer
26:18.
for our newer listeners and viewers today, I just want to be clear because sometimes it's so magical and mystical that you might be thinking that Justin just ripped the audio from the episode and is playing it on stream. No, Justin just made that sound using his own gear and his own ears. So this is a recreation of the sound from the episode,
Yep.
which makes it extra impressive. So let's just hear it again, if we don't mind, so that we can appreciate that we're
again.
listening to a this is a Justin Scheid cover of a sound effect. Okay?
Cover of a sound effect, right?
Oh,
Kind of a
really
thing.
good.
It
Awesome.
happens right at 1847.
Awesome sound. How did you make it, Justin?
I made it. I made it with I'm very old school, kind of synthesis. So it basically came from white noise, which is as what you'd call a source. And then I took a filter, which will kind of cut away and sculpt the sound in different ways. So like instead of you get you can kind of like pinpoint stuff. And that's the movement. And then you take something, you blend in a little something called an LFO, which will move that filter point really, really fast. And then you just kind of move it. Kind of a thing. So like, for example, without the filter, it would just sound like that.
That's the white noise.
Give it a point. move it around, and then add your LFO. Well, I'll make it slow first. And you make that really fast.
Sweet.
DJ
Sick.
Justin.
DJ Justin. And that's kind. I think that's kind of how they did it. They probably had a much cooler source than just white noise.
You know what it feels like listening to that? I get like, I feel like I have a TENS unit on me. Have you ever had one of the like electrical stimulation?
Oh.
Like at physical therapy or something?
No.
Like, they put like okay.
Like Requiem for a Dream style.
And then while that's happening, I should mention we have the violins. And then as she slumps over, Mickey Mouse is.
Yeah, it totally does that.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, you know what? It actually does that same effect on a grander scale later on in the episode. Do you know where? Where there is where there's a fall and glisten fall of the orchestra, and specifically with something like another like literally something falling over. Mm-hmm. Does anyone know?
It's not.
Oh wait, yeah.
No.
Yeah, at 21:41.
Oh, you got that? Okay. So yeah, specifically we have this rising moment of that orchestra, and then they drop the what exactly are those things that Neil and Fern are like on? Like they're
like trash transports, or they're like
trash transports or something, right?
Yeah,
and one of them falls, right? Because they're saying like, oh, we have to get lower. I'm trying, and then like it fucking like just falls, okay? And then you hear this of the orchestra, which is another like Mickey Mouse moment.
Yeah, that's kind of a cool moment. That whole section starting at like 21:23. It's the skeleton crew, the kids' main theme is being like, this is not exact because I didn't like transcribe this, but they're doing the theme, but it's like the chords in it's like arpeggios basically, outlining the chords, and then the brass comes in with the melody, but it's just like, but they're just doing like the first few notes. It's like as if they can't finish it, and then it's like.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. It reminds me of, again, and if everyone has watched our solo stream, kind of reminds me of the moment where Han shoots Woody Harrelson. That's his Star Wars name. Where there's like a buildup of the orchestra, tension, and then it just gets interrupted by something kind of silly, which is him shooting first, of course. Kind of those moments where like what's happening on screen is being kind of like the music is telegraphing like something's going to happen, but then your expectations are kind of let down both by the music and by what's happening on screen, of course. Hey, good sound, Justin.
Yeah, thank you.
As always.
I guess I'll do one more, and then we can talk about the elephant sea shanty in the room, I guess.
Yeah.
What did Neil do in this episode?
Wait. Yeah, you can't say that in this.
Yeah, that's the wrong. That's the wrong animal
you're right.
to use.
We actually have elephants.
Okay.
I love elephants so much.
Strings.
Great.
Sorry.
Told you.
Sorry, my chords. Okay, it's an E augmented. Okay.
I know where this is.
Nope. I'm trying to do planing, but not planing. And then it's...
I know where this is.
Anyway, at the beginning, just pay attention to the beginning.
So
it might be easier to hear on piano.
this is,
these are shitty strings.
Yeah, this is kind of a really interesting moment, especially when you play it kind of out of context, because this is happening like when they're trying to get the ship out, right? And then this is like you're hearing like some of the skeleton crew theme happening, but it's like it's kind of changing underscore and like chords, if you will. Yeah, the last ditch effort. There you go. But you know what's interesting about this, Xanthe? I mean, you could probably tell us.
It's it's
go ahead.
planing. It's a lot of planing notes, but not completely.
So can
and
you
it's
just
homophonic,
play?
So like the strings are moving at the same time. It's not like accompaniment. It's everyone moving together. It kind of everything reminds me of Barbara's Adagio for strings, unfortunately, and this is another one. But yeah, what's the interesting thing you're thinking of?
Well, so go ahead and can you just play the first chords back and forth, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then back to A minor. But so yeah, so if you play those chords are basically the outro music chords essentially to the episode. Bum bum ba da da dum da da.
Well,
right.
Well, you mean in minor? Wait.
Yeah, so the pirate version of the theme, the pirate outro music. Like if you go to the credits, when they play the jaunty version. Yeah, and especially in this episode, if you actually go to the episode right around the credit scene or 27:44 or whatever.
Oh.
You're like right? It's that's essentially what's harmonically happening in the credits. Yeah, it's basically a minor 1 to a diminished 2, right? Arguably.
I'm not here.
A minor to B. Are you playing to the B diminished?
I'm hearing it going minor to minor, not diminished.
Minor.
Yeah.
Play Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Play what?
Yeah, go ahead and play it. Play it in this. Can you just play the string cue?
Yeah.
In this last stitch effort. Oh, right there. Sorry, that's where I'm thinking. The D to the E minor right there is where I'm thinking of. Sorry. Yeah. That moment right there is where it really feels like and is that what key we're in the credits?
No, in the credits we're in B minor. And this is an A minor.
Okay, B minor. Got it.
Saying.
But
like
yeah,
from one minor.
That D to E. The D to E minor is where I was like, ooh, that kind of feels like the end credits in that moment.
Totally. Yeah. Totally. And Samantha, yeah, this is exactly what I'm thinking of. The immolation scene from Revenge of the Sith. Yep.
Oh yeah, and it also reminds me of the end, the almost end of Toy Story 3 as well.
Oh.
No.
Where they're all accepting their fate going into the burner at the end.
It's just the fire. It's just what you play for fire, I guess.
It is. Yeah.
Okay. Well.
I got one more that's going to lead us.
Oh, okay. You go. No, go.
Oh, okay. No. We're
That was
there.
a spoiler.
It's okay. You spoiled it.
Okay. I don't. Which one is more easy to read? Probably the typeset one, right?
I think no. Let's use your handwritten one. It looks cooler.
Okay. Because it just looks cooler. Yeah. Diegetically, we have Jod singing Jack Rennett's song. And have we heard this before? Have we heard this hinted in previous episodes? Yes, we have. Yes,
we have. It has been our elusive dies-irae. Where is it coming from? Why is it here? It's a pirate shanty.
Yep. So underscore becomes diegetic, non-diegetic becomes diegetic. We're crossing that barrier, which is exciting. You want to play?
I have to say, like, Jude Law is selling the absolute bejesus out of this role.
Yep.
Okay? Like, I was watching this scene, I'm like, this guy did not have to go that hard on this character. I mean, this guy is a celebrated actor. You know what I mean? Like he's got a long history of very serious, or at least like acclaimed roles, and here he is. He's like, aboard the Onyx Cinder. It's like, he's basically singing in his mind gibberish. You know what I mean? Like this is Star Wars gibberish. Like, but he's singing it as if it's the most important legend in the world. And I love him so much for bringing this to this character. And he sells it for me. He sells it. Yeah, he's just doing it. He's such a gem for the show. I think, it's really great.
It's great. It's funny. We've been rewatching the Harry Potter films, and we've been thinking the same things. Like, here are all these amazing award-winning actors saying the most ridiculous things and selling it so well. And it reminds me also of has anybody ever seen A Muppet's Christmas Carol?
Oh yeah,
of course.
The Muppet version where everything is Muppet, and then here comes Michael Caine treating it like the most important Shakespearean, like Charles Dickens thing. And it's so well done. It's so well done, really leaning into a character among ridiculousness.
I would say this is like the anti-Oscar Isaac saying somehow Palpatine returned. I feel like we could have used a little bit more Jude Law on that line. Like, I feel like that line almost felt like Oscar Isaac being like, what is this shit that I'm about to read in this script? Okay. or
we
like
just
the classic,
needed Jude Law to just come out and be like, somehow.
This is the classic Harrison Ford.
Returned.
Yeah, the classic Harrison Ford saying to George Lucas, you can write this shit, George, but you can't say it,
Yes.
Turns out all we had to do is sing it, So.
Icarus says, I guess he was hungry for acting.
And he ate.
Yeah.
He ate.
He did.
So I want to, so let's pick this apart for fun. I want to say, like, so we've got this, if it's not a shanty unless it's in 6/8, right, or some kind of 3, it feels like we're drawing on that. We've got the our dies-irae very clearly there, which has been hinted at for a couple times now. We talked about it last episode, which actually, looking at wherever those old notes were, I don't know if it ever went.
Yeah, I don't know either.
When it at the end, and I feel like the song had it been passed down through the space pirate vernacular and stuff. I wonder if it was more of a where he was just kind of emphasizing and he did, because he dramatic kind of a thing he's going for.
And that's important. An important thing to note is what I've written here is not the
what
sheet
he
music
did
for what he's singing. It's a transcription of what I heard him do. It's
totally
it's a transcript, not a screenplay, not the actual. So yeah, it could have been you know, I was hearing at the end, you can see I wrote duples, which just basically means it goes from the lilting to more like, to just more like steady. And really I didn't do it exactly because it is a little bit steadier, a little bit earlier too.
Yeah.
There it felt really emphasized.
And so far we've only got the melody. Do you think we're going to hear a full version of this in some way? Because we're missing like
that'd be
this.
fun.
You know,
If we hear that, I want to hear it sung. Because here we only hear one
hurdy-gurdy
person
drone
singing it, so we actually don't know how it's harmonized, which I think is exciting. You know, Justin is playing sort of a very D minor centric version.
Because it seems like a lot of these, a lot of shanties, what we would call a shanty, have some kind of drone-ish thing going on, probably from the instruments being played.
Yeah.
Be it a concertina, be it a hurdy-gurdy, be it a bagpipe, you know.
That's funny. If we hear it harmonized and it's just
like it could be that, right?
Yeah.
It could be something like that. Or it could be like something unhinged, like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like no wait, what am I doing? What would be a weird? I don't know.
All right. Yeah. Or no, it could be something like one second, let me get it larger so I can see it. Yeah, that would be fun.
Do it on this?
It's not going to be that, but I don't know. There's a lot of fun things they can do with this, because, yeah.
You get the drums going now.
It's probably just going to be a D minor thing.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of the Book of Boba Fett.
It's going to be a G blues.
That's exactly what it's going to be.
Well, I mean, to be quite fair, a lot of these sea shanties find their roots in Scottish and Irish music, so I think Justin probably nailed it.
Are we going to get Star Wars bagpipes? Dune did it.
We really haven't gotten that too much, have we? I don't think so. Like anywhere. I don't remember like any type of like drone pipes in any Star Wars media as of yet. Have we? I don't think so.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Yeah, me neither.
After says the kids, Jod and SM33 could sing it in 4-part harmony. We have another vote for Nick Frost 33 to sing it. Once again, I hope the shanty comes up again with the pirates or people singing loudly with all the power in their lungs. Here's my speculation. It's that this shanty probably has multiple sets of lyrics for different captains. It's just a song passed down. Delete scenes from the last year.
Right.
And what I think is interesting is at the part where it's for at Atten heated plunder, it's like there has to be a break after. Okay, so if we sing, it's like tack renid sword away, away aboard the onyx cinder, and never was he seen again. And then you need like space to go for at Atten. You can't just go.
I think that's got to go there for that. It's got to go to G major there. Like, seen again.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely a fermata there, I think. Like, that will happen in the orchestration. Right?
Yeah. But it's like if it were not sung, you'd think it would just go. But
Yeah.
because of how many extra syllables there are, it's like a mandated fermata or, extra.
Or it'll just be like 1, 2, 3, 4. I bet.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That.
It's either fermata
how
or
I
just
would
extra
write it.
time. Maybe
Yeah.
Tack Brennan is another name of Jod.
That would be wild. That guy just gets around.
Yeah, it's just that
I
we
don't
did
think
see
so.
a skeleton. That's just the only. Oh, but the skeleton was the first mate. Never mind. AurekFonts says deleted scene from Last Jedi had bagpipes, and now I'm remembering the Lanai bagpipes are in the visual dictionary for TLJ.
Interesting. Oh, that's cool.
Opa
well,
bladder bagpipes. Thank you. Good. It's really good. I just posted on the Discord server a link to the Star Wars Shanties group. They did their first show at the Orlando Fringe Festival in 2022 and have since been doing various festivals. That's amazing. Yeah, that's really good.
That's fun. Yeah, I mean, I think the one downside of space pirates, okay, is that I would say, like, unless you do some kind of trickery, but while they're sailing like the high seas, sorry, I'm sure you can hear like there's like some yacht lawn work being happened in the sorry. But unless they're like, as they sail the high seas, as it were, they're in space, so you don't get that scene of like out in the open air singing a sea shanty out on the seas. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you want to see on a sea shanty is you want to see like on the top deck of the ship, they're all singing and they're all like rowing or something like that, right? Or they're like pulling the sails and crap, right? That's what you want to see from your pirates singing a sea shanty. You want to, and like waves splashing over the side, that's like what you want to see. But you can't really do that when you're in space. You know what I mean? You're just kind of singing it inside your spaceship, So I'm wondering if we do see something like that, how they'll show us the space version of the jaunty pirates on the deck of their ships. Yeah, they're like dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Like how do you recreate that vibe but in space? I don't know.
It also occurs to me that just because we have space pirates doesn't mean in Star Wars that we can't also have seafaring pirates, like just on planets.
Well, we did in The Mandalorian, right? Those
that's right.
What do you call it?
Is it Quarren or Alkalish? Can't remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah, okay. Fish people. Sorry.
The fish people. Squid people.
Yeah, that's right. Mon Calamari. Ren and
no,
his
they
Donner
were Mon
backyards. Backwards.
Oh, that's
Donner
funny.
backwards. Yeah, as in the director of Goonies, Richard Donner. Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
What? That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And the name it actually works well. You can't do that with all names.
All right, just as a separate thing, everybody should go and watch. If you get a chance, there's a video of the director of the Goonies. Okay, so basically, he had finished shooting the Goonies. This is before the movie was released. Okay, and he did a great job. Okay, of course, as we all know, it's a classic movie. But he was finally done with he had wrapped the film, and all he wanted to do is go to, I believe, Hawaii. Okay. Where I believe he had like a house of his own or something there, okay? And all he wanted to do was just go there and relax after being around these kids on the set who, while very talented, I think were kind of driving him up the wall, okay? So that's all he wanted to do. He wrapped the film. He's like, great, we did a great job, but honestly, I need to be like away from these kids for like the next month while I can relax on an island in Hawaii, right? And so what he doesn't know is that Steven Spielberg flew the entire youthful cast of the Goonies out to his island in Hawaii, and they were basically like waiting for him when he arrives. And so and they filmed it on like a video camera. And so there's a video where he's like at his vacation home, and then all of a sudden like all the kids from Goonies are like, "Hey, how's it going, Dick? Good to see ya." And like they're like, and he's like losing his sanity in the moment where he's just like, "Oh my God, you're all here." And like he's laughing, and it's very clear that they like all love each other, and they had a great time making the film, but he's kind of like losing his mind as basically he's being ambushed by all the kids that he thought that he was finally free for the next month. It's quite an endearing video, and it's very funny. So I highly recommend. If anyone's a fan of the Goonies, it's a very funny video to watch. But it's Dick Donner doing losing his mind. Very funny. That's fun. I didn't realize that.
So this is I think this is the second sea shanty in Star Wars, if I recall. The first being the one from the High Republic, Shri Karai Karai, which it doesn't make it onto screen, but it is in like various other media. Like in the audiobooks, they'll sing it. It's referenced. The lyrics to it are referenced in books and comics.
Interesting.
Yeah. But first one on screen, I think. Though I think the Boba Fett theme sounds like a shanty.
For sure. I'm surprised that we haven't heard any type of other types of sea shanty vibes, especially considering there's been so many other pirates in Star Wars.
What
before.
Is Hondo Onaka's and what is Maz's? What are their shanties like?
Right.
Surely Maz has to have one. She's legendary. She must.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I guess I can't remember any moments. I mean, of course they've got like the various like scurvy bands playing in these bars that they hang out in,
Yeah. That's true.
We've
probably heard sea shanties like in the background.
Right?
But probably must have.
Like in Clone Wars or something? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Maybe.
Right?
Yeah,
Hondo is from Clone Wars, right? He's originally from Clone. Yeah, that's right. Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. There's something else exciting that happens in this episode musically. And also, if Sam is still in the chat, please let us know what flute things stood out to you in this episode. I feel like all of the episodes feature a lot of flute. Like flute is a very flute heavy score.
Yeah,
not like overtly so, not like the recorder in Mandalorian necessarily, but yeah, but clearly he knows someone who plays flutes. And I think it's good. There's also more bassoon than usual.
A lot of bassoon in this. There was a flute example. I'm a little under the weather, so I didn't want to play anything involving my lungs. But when women KB are helping each other out, there's this very sad version of the main theme, the kid. I guess kind of a thing that was a very flute.
An
heavy.
oboe solo too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at 16:07, I think, is when the flute comes in. Yeah. Sometimes she's not exactly living in the real world herself. Really slow. So what? Oh my gosh! This is such a good scene, and the music is really great. Okay, good. This is the exact moment I was going to bring up. Yeah, it's slow. The harmony is really pretty, and then while KB is like straining around like 1757 to 1844, we get these like slightly dissonant like brass swells, and we get like 14 of them total. It's like, I find it. I think it is a really evocative choice. Yes, and the chords do change, a little bit throughout, but yeah, just really, really beautiful. And after KB reanimates and she is saved, we get the kids' theme again, and there is a new ending to it that persists throughout this episode. And I'm curious, if I missed it before, I would be surprised because it stood out to me, but maybe I have. I'm going to play it, and if anyone recognizes it from a previous episode, let me know so I'm not wrong and spreading misinformation. But, 'cause Cool, right? Like, so we're
It
in
is
G,
cool.
G, A, and then we go to the median, the minor median, B minor. Just the major median. And then it's back to, sorry. More stuff, but we hear this like 2 more times in the episode where it does the like, and it's almost as like this scene transformed something for the kids. At least KB and Wim are like transformed by what happened here. They've just had like a really important moment, and this is also when she calls him a Jedi. She's like, "Thanks, Jedi." And it's like the afterglow of their emotional glow up. I don't know. Resonates in the theme. And I don't know if I'm reading into that too much, but it stood out to me this episode, and I'm curious if it persists next episode.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that reappear. I mean, I think that this episode is very much like a turning point for the group and everyone's friendship, and also this feels like, yeah, it feels like the group itself has transformed in a lot of ways. There's a lot of like, I found there to be a lot of moments of metamorphosis in this episode. You get like the onyx cinder has literally come out of a cocoon, if you will, and birthed out of that is this, the new camaraderie and closeness of the crew. We're hearing the main theme kind of develop and turn another page, if you will. It's almost like they're this little tag on has been there all along. It's just that we're turning the page onto this this passage. It's cool.
Yeah, really good.
Also featuring this music, has the title sequence, which does use these chords and these things, has it been getting shorter? This one felt very short, and I feel like they don't change every time, but they just enough. Like, they're not like completely recontextualized, like the Acolyte or like some of the other shows that we've done. But I feel like they keep getting shorter ever so slightly. This one like didn't finish the theme. I don't know. Maybe I'm just imagining this, but I felt like this one was like they cut it off a little bit earlier than usual.
Yeah, I think they just did. And
that was it.
And usually do they go?
I thought they like...
That might be normally what they do. Let me just go back to the previous
maybe
episode.
It is. I think it's just funny that they use this for the Star Wars like droid face sequence now, and then they also use it for the title sequence. So it's like you're hearing it twice within like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
In that almost same context. A little different.
Yeah. It is. Okay, no, it's the same. I think it's the same. But I think in the beginning with the helmets is when we get it longer. Yeah. Mm-hmm. James is so right about this being the character transformation chapter, and it's so cool that the kids' theme seems to transform with them. Like Xanthi, I hope it continues. Yeah. I missed the very beginning, so let me know if you already talked about it, but I would love to hear your thoughts about the disability themes in this episode. We touched on it, but I wouldn't say we had like an in-depth discussion about it. I kind of talked about it a little bit on Resistance Broadcast. But I think it was a really smart and good writing. I think it was good to have Fern be the one who needed to learn this lesson, because Fern is not a unilaterally bad character. She hasn't messed up. It's not like... It's much more of a realistic gray area where if you're a friend of someone who has become disabled due to an accident or any reason, but you may have known them before, like Fern did, and so she's having her own journey with reckoning with how her friend has changed and what that means for what she can do. You know, in this friendship pair, it's easier to kind of pretend that everything is the same. But anyway, yeah, she's not a bad character. She's a well-meaning friend who still can, I don't want to say mess up, but like be unaware of ableism that is just like hard to be aware of unless you have experienced being disabled yourself or have someone tell you. Because I mean, I think we all can agree that Fern doesn't intend malice toward KB, and yet KB still doesn't feel completely understood. And so I think it's important to show that there can be all these gradients of, like, you know, it's not just like, oh, you did it, you did it, good job or bad job. It's like, no, the learning never stops. There's going to continue to be things that need to be communicated and learned. And I think that was, good to have that happen.
Yeah, I think it like kind of like holds allyship like accountable, right? Like, and like challenges the kind of, you know, if you want to be a good ally to anybody, like if people want to be good allies to one another, you have to like appreciate and look out for each other's differences, right? And not just treat each other like, oh, well, I'm being an ally by just assuming that you're going to be okay and comfortable with whatever scenario that I ask you to come along with, and you know, not it's almost turning that on its head. It's like, no, in order to actually be a good ally to your friend with a disability, you need to be able to listen to them and keep in mind what you know, also what limitations they might be facing and things that make them feel uncomfortable, right? So yeah,
I felt really personally struck by this episode because just a lot of people will consider themselves allies and then be resistant to changing or being, you know, sensitive to being criticized. And just too often, I think people consider themselves allies and then feel really hurt if they did something wrong and then don't want to admit it. Or sometimes, you know, I've heard people lash out like, I care so much. Like,
right.
I care the most. And it kind of, exactly what you said. I think it's a good commentary on allyship and how you can't stop listening and like checking in. I read it as Fern probably caused the accident and hasn't come to grips with the guilt.
Oh,
that could be a factor. There could also just be the guilt of maybe they were involved in something and only KB got injured, but Fern didn't.
Yeah.
There's like, it could be a survivor's guilt. It could also be whatever happened. And that also, Fern hasn't fully come to grips with it.
And that's kind of, I find that, also, I think, what's the word? Is it, reasonable to, like, that my assumption, or at least my connection, was that the situation that KB is in is like, not identical, but like she's of the same ilk as Lobot in Empire Strikes Back. That's what I was taking from this, or whether it be like a nod, or is it just literally like, oh, I guess what I'm saying is like, it to me that now recontextualizes that character in Empire Strikes Back, that I think Lobot has, I'm not sure if anyone knows any of the lore backstory of that character, but it also just like also represents that character as like, oh, this is somebody that experienced you know, like a debilitating accident, which is an interesting recontextualization of that character. But I don't know, I haven't like read the Wikipedia on Lobot before, so I'm curious if the implication is like they're like in similar situations or not. Like, is that the same tech being used on KB that was used on Lobot?
Well, I'm on the Wikipedia right now.
Okay.
And I think it's probably not the same reasons. Lobot had cyborg construct implanted into the back of his skull, allowing him to make battlefield calculations. The implants which traded personality for productivity. Ooh, this is kind of bad.
Is that the canon or the Legends article?
I'm on the canon tab.
Okay, gotcha. Interesting. Okay.
Oh, but then he did have an injury, severe injuries. Lobot was unable to prevent the implants from taking over, permanently making him a machine-like assistant. So, okay, well, this is not great. This is not great. This is not great. Not great.
Okay, it's not great. It's not great. Well, yeah.
Cut, quick.
No, I mean,
we went too far.
No, I guess that's what I was saying is like, I always took that from the Lobot character of being like exactly what you just described. And I think that's because there's like an archaic like representation of disability in all types of like sci-fi media, right? There's like there's like this thing where you become less human due to your implants or your assistive devices, or you become like more evil, right? There's like a long history of like of showing even just Long John Silver, perfect example of that, right? It's like there's a long history of like people that are that have a disability that are automatically like the villain in the show. Yeah. They're missing an eye, they're missing a leg, they're these types of these types of
becoming more machine
portrayals.
Than man.
Become a machine and then man, right? And it's like it's really interesting how this flips this completely. I feel that not completely on its head, but I think it lends. I think it's admirable and also like kind of interesting that in a pirate show, specifically a pirate show, which is like maybe like one of the worst offenders of like basically saying, oh, because this person is experiencing a disability, they're automatically like
scary.
They're a scary, bad, like quirky pirate, and this is showing kind of realizing this for us. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking out loud at the moment. These aren't like particularly well-formed thoughts, but it's just kind of interesting. And good. I think it's a good portrayal. I mean, should I say so myself as somebody that doesn't experience any physical, significant disability. So I should, put a little disclaimer. I'm just kind of like looking from the outside here, but, so anyway.
I think what's good about KB's portrayal is, well, first of all, Lobot also was incapable of speaking verbally and communicated using his cyborg construct, which I don't think we've had any main characters who are non-speaking or in Star Wars yet, but the way that Lobot is portrayed is just like an assistant whose personality, like has traded his personality for productivity or whatever. Like KB obviously has, like we've gotten to know her already,
right.
As someone, a human with a personality. I don't know, a person that cares about people and that other people care about her, right. And has, feelings and wants. Rather than going like robot parts first, tech first. Like they're not like,
right.
I feel like the show's not trying to exotify like her implants or something. Like focus on the back of her head or whatever.
Which they kind of do with like Echo and in the Bad Batch right here. Yeah. So it's kind of it definitely lends itself to like conversation and so I'm like there's definitely a lot to explore here, which I think is certainly a strength.
Vader has become evil when he became less human, says Icarus. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It, like solidifying his change to the dark side. Fern realized the limitations of Neil and made changes to help him along. She doesn't just see the same with KB, and they aren't communicating well. It was incredibly well done. And also, I think KB captured something that is so relatable, which is she said, I don't always like to speak up and say that I can't do something. So she already does try really hard to not complain and to not say, actually, I can't do this. So like, this is so often the case with disabled people, with people who are, you know, even people who are just going through something that is internal and people on the outside can only see the parts that come out, is probably the times that KB is saying she can't do something, that represents like actually like 10 other times where she held back. So, yeah, it's actually, there's so much under the surface. And then there's this other good comment. The transformation chapter that includes the ship changing, dropping outer shell, representing what the kids are going through. So yeah, they all molted, just like crabs.
Molted the trash.
Did we see any crabs molting in this episode?
No, but it was really kind of cool to think of them as hermit crabs, except with trash. I mean, sad to think that, but
and a stormtrooper helmet was one of the shells on one of the crabs.
They're so cool. There is a scene in the first episode where she asks Fern to slow down riding on her bike, and Fern ignores her. Yep. And I like how this recontextualizes that scene. Because it comes off as, oh, she's just not as brave as Fern, or she's more uptight, or she's more just cautious. But that could be true, and that would be fine. But also, you know, maybe Fern shouldn't be so reckless around her, and, you know, slow down.
That's right.
And so often we judge people in situations like that and think it says something about their personality when it's like maybe reveals a need that they have. You know, I bet KB is made fun of a lot for being too cautious or too, I don't know, scrap crabs.
Yeah. I'm interested as if the show will allow Fern an opportunity or not allow it, but like write in an opportunity for Fern to show that growth of her mindfulness. If they, in my opinion, if they do a good job writing the show, they will.
I really hope so. That would be that would be really
absolutely
great.
Just thinking about it now, you know what else? I don't know if this was mentioned specifically, but it also kind of recontextualizes some other aspects of a different show, going back to like Book of Boba Fett, where we meet these community of rebel teenagers that like to mod themselves.
Right.
And while this is a very, very, very different comparison, and I am in no way like James, like disabled in a way that will affect what I do, but I am quite blind, for example. And without my glasses, I am absolutely useless. Like, I would cry if I broke my glasses and had to drive somewhere. I wouldn't do it. Like, there's no way, kind of a thing. And when people wear glasses for fashion and don't need them, it doesn't offend me. But there's moments of like, I need these, like to function. Well, why don't you just get contacts? Well, that's a whole other thing that I can't do. And there's a not an understanding. So thinking, I'm curious if some of the thought behind, say, Fern or people, how they treat KB comes from, oh, well, you've got the cool glasses. You got these cool augmentations. Like, you can do anything, kind of a thing, without realizing the actual reason why KB needed them in the first place, because KB doesn't feel like sharing that. Which is something that KB is also grappling with. I don't know. It just kind of popped in my head, the modding community and Thundercat coming in.
Yeah.
But then also having to use that same technology to save Fennec.
Right. Yeah, I think what's interesting about the mods is that we don't know that they're not disabled.
Right, we don't know
still
that.
Also
we
might
don't.
Be.
We absolutely don't know that.
Literally Fennec was, right?
Yeah.
Right. It came across, I remember watching, like, oh, we're just, we're adding things to our bodies because we can. Yeah, like, because we can. Yeah. It came across that way. But you're right, we don't specifically know backgrounds of these characters to a depth that would allow that understanding. But
yeah,
I don't know, just another way of...
I think since it was also a subculture, there might have been like a cultural understanding of what is okay within that makes sense in their culture.
Yeah.
And I think there's like, you know, how we're speculating on like what the visor does and what is this functional or is it fashionable. I think I like the blurring of that, where we can't tell, and maybe KB doesn't want to disclose say everything, where I think people have will just want to know, like, what does that do? What does that do?
Well, I think it in like, I think it's a kind of speaks to this kind of like multifaceted or like multi-layered portrayal with KB. Is like, it's not just focusing on the things that limit her. It's also focusing on her, like, she's got serious like strengths that are being highlighted and celebrated, right? It's not just about like, right? Like her tech is in many ways something that's assisting her, but it's also something that is augmenting her and providing, you know, strengths for her, you know, which is being celebrated. Like she is fucking cool, like, you know, like both with and without her tech, you know. And I think that's a cool way to portray that, right? It's not like, oh, that she needs this. It's also like, yeah, the shit that she's got on her head is sick, you know? You know, like,
and it's also not making her who she is.
Right. She's not defined by it. Right.
But I feel like KB, she comes across as self-accepting. Of course, there is like of course, that's not the full picture, but I do like that it seems like she has gotten a handle on like how to use everything that she has, and it seems like she is either accommodated well, like Atten seems like an affluent place. It seems like she's
everybody
really
is doing pretty well here, you know.
Yeah, and we can you know, only hope that everyone in the galaxy could have that opportunity to, and
kids do that as well. Like kids I think adapt to things in ways that adults emotionally, I think, might take longer to adapt to. I remember so when I was a kid, I had when I was in 4th grade, I was elbowed in the eye, and I literally was at risk of never being able to move my left eye ever again, and I had to wear an eye patch for a couple months in 4th grade because I had broken a bone that was connected to the muscle that moves my eye. Oof. And so there was a real good I had to get surgery and put a titanium screw implant into which is still there to this day, into my left eye. But I basically was constantly seeing double because one eye could move around, and unless I positioned them into the exact same frame, I was basically had double vision. Because one eye cannot move because the bone was broken that was connected to the muscle that moves the eye. So essentially, but I thought this whole thing was the coolest, fun, like most fun thing ever. Cause I was like, I get to wear an eye patch like a pirate for like months. Like, this is awesome. I get to go to school in an eye patch. And there was definitely moments that were uncomfortable or scary, but like, I definitely didn't appreciate the possibility that like, this is just might be my reality for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Until they fixed it through surgery. But like, had that happened to me now, I think I would be experiencing way more emotional distress in that situation than I did when I was in 4th grade, because I was basically like, yeah, I can do this, no problem. Put that as long as that the eye patch, which it did, had skull and crossbones on it. Which at first they gave me like a white medical eye patch, and I was like, "Fuck
absolutely
this!" I was like, "You are gonna give me a pirate eye patch," and I used to wear to Catholic elementary school of all places, like really like a pirate eye patch over my left eye for like a big part of my 4th grade year. I took my yearbook photos with an eye patch on. So
Pixar didn't happen.
I don't know if I had somewhere at my house or my mother's house. So anyway, So anyway, I just remembered specifically being like, okay, I had an accident and this is fine. And, you know, there is a level of like tenacity that I think that kids display that adults maybe don't as much. But
yeah. And I think kids trust more when the doctors say it can be fixed. And also kids' bodies, like your eyes can do that when you're still young.
Right. That's true. You can be fixed. You're and there was also a Nintendo 64 at the pediatrician, which was sick because my parents didn't let me have video games growing up. So I was like, this is awesome.
Well, does anyone have anything else about Skeleton Crew episode 6?
By the way, that screw in my head became an issue of concern when I needed an MRI a couple years ago, and we weren't sure what the screw was made out of because they didn't keep very good records in the 90s of and there's a possibility in the 90s that it wasn't made out of titanium, which does not react to an MRI. There's a possibility because MRIs weren't as common in the 90s that they used an actual magnetic metal screw. So luckily it turned out okay and I got an MRI. So
oh my God.
But there was a little moment where I was like, this thing might get ripped out the wrong way.
For the last episode, everyone should cosplay as pirates.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds great.
Well,
we were
our in
well,
person.
hold on. Why don't we do this? I mean, we don't have to do this right now, but we were considering doing our last one in person, weren't we?
Mm-hmm. Like doing it in person the night of
the show.
The night of the show.
So we might.
Yeah, so we might do that. Let us know if you would be down for that in the chat.
Pirate cosplay.
I guess I have one more thing to say, which came up on the Resistance broadcast. So we were talking about the pseudo force theme that shows up in episode 2 when they're meeting Jod for the first time, and it leads into the force theme. And he asked me on that stream, so I'm kind of closing a loop. He asked me if that also is heard in the next episode when he and the kids are getting acquainted, and I thought it wasn't, but then I listened back and it totally was. But even more exciting, okay, so just to recap, the pseudo force theme was the and then it went okay, so but it was sorry. So kind of we have a minor triad, and then it goes to the 6 right there. And then just to refresh everyone's memory, there's another theme that I have been calling Pirate T, but it could also be like Pirate Jod, which is so, and we hear it, and then it goes. Oh, sorry. And so, yeah, we hear that, and I thought that other time where John had asked me if it was the pseudo force theme, I thought it was the Pirate T theme, but they do start the same. And the only difference, I mean, not the only difference, but if we count these two notes are the same, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is in the pseudo force theme, it goes up to 6. And in the Pirate Jod theme, the Pirate T theme, it goes down to sharp 4. So now I think that they're like two sides of the same coin, two sides of Jod. The one that goes up is more forcey. The one that goes down is more piratey.
Whoa. I dig it.
This is my conspiracy.
Love it.
I'm into it. I'll buy it.
I don't think it was intentional, but it is what I'm reading into it.
Well, I'll listen for it in the future.
Cool. Were you joking?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, okay. Can't detect the sarcasm.
No, it wasn't sarcastic. No.
Okay. Yeah. You have anything?
It's a good show.
Yeah.
I'm having a blast.
Yeah, it bodes. I don't know. I don't know what lies in the future of Star Wars content making, and maybe it's not worth like worrying about it or anything like that. But I find I don't know. I hope that they continue to make stuff like this. I hope. I know that like Acolyte didn't get good viewership. I know that they're dealing with like a viewership problem here, and it's causing kind of disruptions in what they're able to prioritize. It's so wild that this year is going to be the 10th anniversary of The Force Awakens, and it's gonna be like, what is it? It's gonna be 6 years since we've had a Star Wars movie in theaters, you know? So yeah, I hope that they keep making stuff like this that's like kind of contained, kind of weird, not like isn't just throwing our favorite characters down our throat like this, like the Mandalorian kind of has been. Just like letting us breathe a little bit and get to like know the new characters and love them and enjoy them. You know, I think the sequel trilogy or the prequels introduced a whole bunch of new. I mean, there's of course a lot of like throwbacks, but like I feel like we got to know the prequel era so well through just enough time. Like we got the Clone Wars show, and I don't think they've been able to do that as much with the sequel era. They've kind of fallen back on the old hits. Like let's do some Empire Rebels thing. Like let's do a bunch of content there, or let's do some, once they've got the Mandalorian and everybody loves the Mandalorian, they're like, let's just keep hitting the Mandalorian and Grogu over and over again. But I kind of just want them to make new weirds. Like the Acolyte was a really like exciting thing because it's like, cool, we can just explore all that, right? But I know that it got canceled, so yeah, I don't know. I hope that this show is doing well because it's really well made and it's made with a lot of heart and a lot of, just a lot of time and effort and beautiful world building has been put into this show. So I'd love to see more stuff like it, I guess is all I'm saying.
I agree. Yep.
But we'll see.
Totally. Instead of stealing from themselves, they're taking from other things and making it new within Star Wars.
Which is what Star Wars does. That's what
what it should be doing. Yeah, just a break from the main storyline has been really nice.
Yep, Matthew has a good. Sorry, go ahead, Justin. Finish.
No. That's it.
I was just gonna say, Matthew. I was thinking as I was watching the kids, like at the end of this episode, like manning the crew, just like how cool of a crew this. Like if these kids stay together until they're grown up and they're like become like actual like pirates or some type of like adventurers as adults, like how cool of a crew this would be. You've got like, I don't know. I just like obviously kids are cool and fun and funny and all that stuff, but it would just be cool to see this whole crew like grown up, like running the galaxy and doing like, kind of having a little crew of their own, but
I think that's like a good litmus test for how well you developed your characters. Cause like while they're kids, they can get by on their cuteness perhaps, but are they going to be able, when they're adults, are they still going to be able to, or like, older teenagers or something, will they still be interesting to people?
Right. Yeah, and Alfie is kind of speaking to what I was saying, and I think that the issue that I find now is that everything is so like run by like audience perception and like also like making, because of the streaming area. Like the Clone Wars was basically just George Lucas being like, we're going to make this show because I said so. And I don't care how well it does. We're going to make this show and it's going to be weird and it's going to be my thing. But now everything is just like literally Acolyte didn't even get off its feet. It's just like everybody just made a snap judgment on that show of how many people are watching it. It's like nowadays, if that happens, they just snap their fingers and you never see it again, So it's it's a bummer.
So
Like,
the comment says Clone Wars did the heavy lifting for the prequels. The sequels don't have a series like that yet. I would like a sequel series. However, well, actually, we do have Resistance.
yeah, but that's not. Yeah, I mean that was happening. The issue with Resistance is that it was happening in real time, and what they really need is stuff that fleshes out the whole story of the sequel trilogy, because it's like they didn't know what the story was when they were making that show.
Yeah,
I don't think I agree that Clone Wars did the heavy lifting for the prequels. I think the prequels.
I know there's a lot of people that.
Themselves.
I think there's a lot of people that do believe that for themselves.
Yeah, I know. But
I know
what
that
I'm saying is, like, it's not a unilateral truth.
Yeah,
it's what a lot of people think, though. But yeah.
I really feel like Bad Batch and Mandalorian are trying to explain the somehow Palpatine returned, and they're trying to be the ones, the series that's explaining everything of the prequel trilogy or the sequel trilogy without being in the sequel trilogy timeline directly and affecting it. I think they're doing their best to set up that somehow.
They have, and I think that's cool. It's kind of weird because I feel like that season 1 of Mandalorian, like it wasn't trying to be that at all, and now they've kind of shoehorned it into doing that heavy lifting for it, which is like. So I feel like in a lot of ways, like Mandalorian has lost its charm for some people, mostly because it's like no longer feels like season 1 anymore. It feels like it's like this cameo fest, which is specifically existing to like do exactly what you just said, Justin. But I don't know. Like if you showed me the Mandalorian and told me in the first couple episodes, like, hey, you know that Luke Skywalker is gonna like be like in this show, I'd be like, no, he's not. What are you talking about? But here we are. So anyway.
Yeah, I think we're about done for today. Yeah.
Yeah. We have veered off.
I'm trying to be a responsible YouTuber, so I'm gonna say something. Wait, we have another comment before I read an outro. George Lucas was working on a Clone Wars spin-off with the Padawans that worked with Ahsoka. The series never happened as he sold Star Wars to Disney. And I really wanted that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, the Band Batch Skeleton Crew music review will return next Saturday. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. James, don't laugh at me. There will also be a new episode of Star Wars Music Minute coming out on Monday with my guest Frank Lehman, who is the creator of the Star Wars thematic catalog. So you don't want to miss that. It's a very good conversation.
That's awesome. Wow.
And does anyone here have anything to promote before we go?
Not currently.
Nope.
Next Saturday, see us on Band Batch with Chrysanthe of Star Wars Music Minute.
That's right.
The idea of kids 11 years old leading a show is great. Yes. Anyway, thank you for joining us. If we said anything, if we asked any questions on the show and you find an answer to it, you can always leave a comment. You can always ask more questions in the comments. But thank you for being here. And yeah, that's all we got. Let's play our outro music. Which